Good morning, everyone, and how are you doing? And welcome to this installment of Contractors Chatter. I'm your host, Luciana Turner. Welcome. Contracting Chatter is that daily dose of government contracting education, legislation, and regulation. I'm your host, as I said. So let's get started. This morning's chatter is going to be a little short. I have an appointment, but we don't skip. We jump in, do what we have to do, and we get out. So, with that said, I actually want to revisit a concept. It was something that was brought to my attention that I had talked about previously, and somebody had wanted me to kind of um, dive into a little more. As we enter the room, please say hello. You know how we were raised. We was raised to greet everyone as we enter. I do acknowledge everyone as they come in, and if you're catching the replay, hashtag replay. If you find value in this content, and if you don't, but you have a business compadre or you have someone you believe may find this content valuable, share it with them. But I shared some content. Good morning. Good morning. I made a comment in another group. And I believe the actual content was you can't Lone Ranger this thing. and And someone's response to me was, as an initial business owner, someone just starting, you can't always afford to hire a team. And it goes back to this whole concept that's going around where you 1099 everybody. The Department of Labor has a test where, and it's really a checklist of questions that determines whether or not you can 1099 people. If they do not meet that test, you have to do a W-2. And the reason for that is people want to do this whole 1099 thing to get around paying employment tax and other taxes. People also want to 1099 people to delay paying people. They feel like if I do 1099, I could develop a workforce and not have to pay anybody right away. There's an old saying, you're trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. Good morning, Lavanya. And eventually Peter, Paul, and John is going to be standing in your face to get paid. That's a bad idea. And here's why. When you get caught, not if, it's a when. When you get caught, you will have to pay retroactively all the back payroll taxes related to each individual employee that should have been a W-2 employee that you claimed was a 1099. So that's all the FUTA, FICA, SUTA that's related to that employee, plus penalties and interest. That's why I tell people, unless they are a true 1099, which is a consultant or a true subcontractor, Do not take this bad advice that's out there. Department of Labor has that checklist. It's a test that helps people or help business owners determine, are they truly a 1099 person or should they be W-2? And the biggest determination is, how much direction do you give them? Do you issue them a statement of work and they go forth and conquer, or are you giving them daily direction? And if you're giving them daily direction, they are not 1099. Now, I know there's this whole rise in the 1099 workforce, but due to COVID, however, there's a whole big reversal on that. Because people are getting smart and they're saying, wait a minute, you're doing a whole lot of directing. Am I really a 1099 or should I be getting compensation? Should I be receiving benefits? And just for an FYI, people can anonymously report you to the Department of Labor. And when you watch this, and for every finding, the Department of Labor actually, gives out an award. And I know the IRS is 10%. I'm gonna back up off this. The Department of Labor, issue rewards for people who reports it. I, as an employee, can report you if I feel like I've been miscategorized. That was for one of the first audits I did when I went into compliance. So, as a small business entering government contracting, or as a small business, period, who feels they cannot build your workforce, don't do it that way. It is better to start off with smaller contracts that you can do the work yourself, or develop your business credit. Build your business credit so that you can get financing to float these contracts and get the proper financing to receive payday. There are such things as payroll financing. You don't have to get contract financing. You can get payroll financing. We're going to discuss that at the Contractors Intensive, the different types of finance vehicles that are out there. But you're only qualified for them if you develop the proper business financing or business credit. But somebody brought that to my attention, so I wanted to clarify that. Clarify that point. I've made that point multiple times, but I just wanted to really deep dive and clarify that point. And the penalties and interest is enough. It can be enough to shut down a business if you're small and do not have the reserves to absorb the impact. And for the records, penalties and interest are an unallowable cost and cannot be absorbed into your rates. So when you're generating your rates for bidding, they have to go in unallowable, and all unallowable costs cannot be factored into your bid rates. And bid rates are audited by the government. Yes, that's a thing. So when HR and compensation talks about the Department of Labor coming in auditing, that's why it's such a big deal. That is why all that paperwork needs to be together. That's why there's such, that's why compliance is important. People only want to talk about the sexy side of business. I'm a business owner. Compliance is the unsexy part of business ownership that nobody wants to talk about, but it's the part of business that keeps you in business, because a non-compliance will shut you down in a heartbeat. Non-compliances closes more businesses than anything else. So with that said, I'm going to get off and I'm going to stop beating that dead horse. I believe we've made that point and move on to the next point. Um, this is a political point, and this is not a political platform. However, I want you to watch this point. We're going into the election year. And as business owners, we need to be mindful of the new regulations that are coming out, being suspended, or being proposed. Regulations always impact the bottom line in some way, shape, or form. New regulations can cost us in time. It can cost us in how do we have to retrain our staff. It can cost us in, even with the state, local, federal elections, anything that's going on that may cost us to have to shut down for any length of time for security reasons. If you live in the DC area, they're good for road closures. It may cost us to have to delay things. Everything impacts our bottom line. So be cognizant of those things and be willing to pivot. If you keep a forward eye out, you can adjust in that way, shape, or form. I just wanted to put that FYI out there for people who don't pay attention politically for whatever reason. You still need to plan. There's a lot of the forecast for the next government year are starting to drop. That's important for FY 2024 planning. Every government contractor should be planning for next year. You don't wait until 2024 to plan for 2024. You should be doing your strategic planning for FY 2024 now. So, and every government agency is dropping their forecast for next year. Why is that important? It's important because you're going to see what their spending is looking like. So you can create a strategic plan for the upcoming year. You're going to see what their long-term contracts look like or what their short-term spending looks like. And having a great or good contract mix is important. Putting all your eggs in one basket is not a smart, strategic method for any business. Having all long-term contracts may sound smart, but it isn't. Long-term contracts get suspended from time to time. Sometimes they're interrupted. Sometimes the needs change. So if you have, especially if you only have one, I don't know why anybody would do that, but if you only have one and that contract is interrupted, then you're scrambling. So having a good mix of contracts as far as terms and types is the way you should go strategically. Knowing the forecast and having the ability to create an overarching strategy, utilizing the forecasts is a good way. Keeping an eye on the appropriation bills. We already know where the president's spending. He did the budget dropped in February. So the appropriation bills have been making their way through Senate and Congress. A few things have landed on the president's desk. He signed some things, they've obligated some things, they've done some things with the debt ceiling. Keeping all of that in mind, the obligated funds for FY 2024, I'm talking about next government year, which starts October 1st. This is the time to solidify those plans and plan for the year. Do not allow political pundits and people in the news to make you create these. I know the new buzz phrase is to do 6-week years, or you only plan for 6 weeks. You can't run a business that way. And actually, people who are espousing this doctrine are people who haven't read up on it. What the doctrine really means is you plan for the whole year, but you work 6 weeks at a time. Plan for the whole year, but you work 6 weeks at a time. Plan for the whole year, but you work each quarter. What people tend to do is they try to work the whole year. And what the doctrine really meant was plan the whole year, but work each quarter. So a lot of these people like jump on bandwagons and try to teach things like they're experts, and they're not experts in them. And then I sit back and I listen to them, quite frankly, it's teach people incorrectly. So you plan, government contractors plan, quite frankly, the average forecast is 5 years. Government contracting is the one thing where you keep your foot in 3 worlds: present, future, and the past, because you always have your eye on the audit, and you're operating today, but you're also planning for the future, which is why you can't Lone Ranger this thing. You must have a team. And I'm not telling you go out there and build this 10,000 person team. I don't intend to have a 10,000 person team. I have a government contracting shop. I'm developing my FY 2024 plan as we speak. I do not intend to have a 5,000 person government contracting shop. That is not what I'm telling you. Do not pick up what I'm not putting down. I'm telling you that if you want to be successful and not drive yourself crazy, you must have a team to help you develop those strategies so that you're not doing it all. You must be the CEO, and you can't be the CEO if you're also the biller, the project program manager, and you're also doing all the work, and you're also. That's what I'm saying. So you must have a core team of people that are handling your G&A and overhead activities while you have people performing the direct work. That is what I'm saying. So as I said when I started, this one strategy is going to be short because I have an appointment, and I feel that this is a great place to stop. So join me tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. for another installment of Contracting Chatter. I don't have any appointments tomorrow, so I'll probably do an extended chatter. And tomorrow's chatter, I'm actually going to upload on my podcast. So I'll probably do an extended chatter. So if you have a topic that you want me to discuss, submit that topic, either DM me or any of the platforms, or you can submit it via email at contact@LTA consultinggroup.com. Put it in the subject, chatter topic. I am more than willing to take a topic. I am dropping 3 new training classes that I will release today, but I will discuss tomorrow. And it'll be good content for my long chatter on tomorrow. With that said, have an amazing, amazing day. Don't forget to take time to decompress, because a stressed mind can never create. And I will see you on tomorrow. Have a great and amazing day.